I don't know. Like, I always kind of hated the 10 race thing because there was so many times. How many times did you or I have a bad race or two in that 10 race format, and then you're fifth in points?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have the opportunity to win it.
NASCAR's playoff system has been under fire for years, but now one of the sport's most recognizable champions is leading the charge for change. Kyle Busch, a two-time Cup Series champion, has just delivered his most scathing critique yet of NASCAR's current championship format, and his words are sending shockwaves throughout the racing community. The veteran driver's explosive comments have not only exposed what many see as fundamental flaws in the system, but have also ignited a firestorm of debate among fans, fellow drivers, and industry insiders about the future direction of America's premier stock car racing series. Busch's latest proposal for NASCAR's playoff system represents a radical departure from the current single-race championship finale. On Monday's edition of the Actions Detrimental podcast, the Richard Childress racing driver made the case that the final championship round should be a series of 3 races rather than just one. Is there a speedway race in the last 3? Why not, Busch said. You race 6 speedway races, you race 6 road course races, you race 8 intermediates, 3 races, Daytona kicks it off, Daytona, Texas, Homestead to finish the season. This bold suggestion directly challenges NASCAR's current approach to championship races. The sport has made it clear they prefer venues less likely to be subject to bad weather, since the season ends in November. NASCAR Executive Vice President Ben Kennedy recently addressed this concern, stating, "Weather is a big part of it. Being in early November, we want to make sure we're in a warm weather climate, and that it's an atmosphere that a lot of our fans can come out and enjoy, and not get the risk of a snowstorm or anything." What makes Busch's criticism even more compelling is his deep analysis of NASCAR's various playoff formats over the years. During his conversation with Denny Hamlin on the podcast, Busch laid out his thoughts on what works and what doesn't. I've heard a lot of variances. I kind of think the 3 or 4 race one is pretty cool, but if you have one bad race in those 3 or 4 races, then you automatically sort of eliminate yourself unless somebody eliminates themselves by having a bad race, Kyle Busch said to Hamlin. Busch's frustration with NASCAR's playoff history runs deep, particularly regarding the 10-race chase format that dominated from 2004 to 2013. I always kind of hated the 10-race thing. How many times did you or I have a bad race or two in that 10-race format and then you're 5th in points? You don't have the opportunity to win it because Jimmie Johnson perfects it and he's good all the way through, Busch explained. The revelation about Jimmie Johnson's role in shaping Busch's distaste for the playoff format adds another layer to this controversy. Kyle Busch shed light on how Jimmie Johnson's dominance in NASCAR's 10-race playoff era shaped his disdain for the format. Johnson's 5 straight Cup championships from 2006 onwards left little room for error for other drivers, with Busch facing the brunt of it in his 2008 title bid. Busch's personal experience in 2008 perfectly illustrates his frustration. He led a dominant run through the regular season with 8 wins and 1,673 laps led, a feat that was second only to Johnson. He led the driver's standings for most of the regular season. However, his campaign took an ugly turn with the chase, where he immediately fell victim to mechanical problems that derailed the momentum he built throughout the year. Denny Hamlin doubled down on Busch's sentiment during their podcast discussion. He didn't have many just bad races like 30th or worse where he crashed out, Hamlin said about Johnson's consistency during the chase era. When discussing potential solutions, Busch offered his thoughts on the current elimination format. When they started having the 3 race ones, where it was like you can point your way through if you want. If you're good enough and you can win and automatically put your way through, and it resets each time, and it resets with the points that you have the whole year because you've been strong the whole year, I felt like that was the most fair system that we've had. But it coming down to a one-race take-all moment, I don't know. Hamlin's proposed changes go even further. I'm okay with the elimination every 3 races as long as those who perform well during the regular season have a far enough jump and head start, Hamlin said. He suggested doubling the bonus points for drivers who win stages and races. It then really does make it rewarding to go out there and perform and get bonus points during the regular season, and it makes it harder for our favorites to get eliminated early. The 2311 Racing co-owner also proposed reducing the playoff field from 16 to 12 drivers. I think that will eliminate the guy in 33rd that's going to win a race, making it into the playoffs, he said. I also believe that once you get eliminated, you should go back to whatever points position you were or where you should be. NASCAR's resistance to certain changes is evident in Kennedy's comments about championship venues. He specifically addressed why superspeedways like Daytona are unlikely championship locations. Never say never, but I think we've unanimously agreed that it needs to look and feel like what we would expect traditional NASCAR racing to look and feel like. Short tracks, intermediate tracks, mile tracks are all on the board. Super speedways, I think we all feel like right now we wouldn't consider that as a championship venue. The financial implications of venue selection also play a role. Kennedy emphasized the need for championship races to be in big markets. We want to make sure that we're in a big market, a large metro area that can really embrace us. We want to make sure it's marketed and promoted the right way, that it feels like a world-class championship facility. NASCAR's openness to change, however limited, offers some hope for reform. In November, NASCAR Commissioner Steve Phelps said, "We are always looking if there are opportunities for us to tweak something." This statement suggests that while wholesale changes might be unlikely, modifications to the current system could be on the table. The timing of Busch's comments is particularly significant following his 21st place finish in the Advent Health 400 at Kansas Speedway. With time still remaining to qualify for the NASCAR Cup playoffs, his criticism carries the weight of immediate concern rather than abstract theory. As Kyle Busch continues to expose what he sees as fundamental flaws in NASCAR's playoff system, the sport faces mounting pressure to address these concerns. With championship-winning drivers like Busch and Hamlin offering detailed alternatives and even silent critics like Jimmy Johnson's championship success being re-examined, NASCAR must carefully consider whether its current format truly serves the best interests of the sport. The question remains, will NASCAR implement meaningful changes, or will the playoff system continue despite growing criticism from its biggest stars? Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest NASCAR drama and breaking news. Drop a comment below. Do you think Kyle Busch is right about the playoff format? Should NASCAR make these changes?